Welcome. I'm Bob Burke, Chair of the Libertarian Party, Pierce St Croix. Drugs are clearly a problem for our community, but let's be honest, they've been a problem for years. We are an affluent bedroom community of the Twin Cities. Our demographics are exceptionally educated for the state, our incomes are one of the highest, and our schools are really good despite the video faux pas. But drugs have been here for years, and the wealth of our city makes us a target. The heroin problem is just the problem that currently stands out. We have fought meth for decades. The first step for our communities is to admit that we have a problem, and I think by now most people are getting that message. But this admission does us no good so long as we is seen as some amorphous public. You watching right now are going to be asked to re-examine the way you see drugs and the subsequent war on them. We do this one by one, and it's hard. It's messy. It's going to cause fights within families. That's primarily because we have decades of lies and propaganda to undo. First, we need a fresh understanding of all drugs. Marijuana is not heroin. I spent this weekend at the 43rd Annual Midwest Marijuana and Hemp Harvest Festival working the Wisconsin Libertarian Party booth. Here's what the local community wants you to know about pot. People get happy, hungry, and sleepy. We chanted it on the 420 parade up to the Capitol. But I'd prefer to tell you about the disabled that attended, like the man with one leg that I helped get his wheelchair out of his van and into. You know, as a former nursing assistant, I can tell you, he was not well cared for. But this was really important to him. Consider where gas prices are. And I think that perhaps he knew there were many people who couldn't make it. That's what I took away. Friends, there is a large community of disabled pot smokers who live in fear over a flower that for the incredibly vast history of mankind has not just been legal, but has had a very special place in almost every culture's history in the world. It's a weed. It goes way back. You want to know what prohibition has done? Potency has gone from 6 to 10% to 18 to 25, and use among kids is through the roof. And that's the second thing we need to understand. We have done a terrible job keeping marijuana away from our children. Friends, I invite you to stop this video right here and right now. Text your friend or your child in high school and ask them openly, which is easier to get right now, pot or alcohol? And then post your answers down below. You know, there were some fairly young kids openly partaking, and that did bother me. And that wasn't the first time they'd ever smoked. Legalize marijuana and regulate it with the current model being put in place in Colorado. Do that tomorrow. You'll have statewide support, I promise you. But friends, these people right here are the people who run the cannabis shops in Colorado. Take a good look. Because these are the people running that industry in the rest of America. You want to reduce gun violence? The marijuana economy is what the gangs are using as a funding source for their guns. It's as easy as that to drop the inflow of guns to gangs and reduce all violence. This is also how the drugs like heroin spread, through these bad actors. We need addicts seeing a real doctor and not these guys. The cost of the drug and the associated crime will plummet, by the way, I promise. And that is really what we want, isn't it? Third, dedicate irrevocable language that revenues generated are a user fee. And all those user fees must be used to improve conditions created by all addictive controlled substances. This user fee is not your way out of the federal deficit. That's immoral. Two distinct groups showed up, the poor and the young, and they have a lot in common these days. Both are taking the brunt of this miracle we call the economic recovery. Fourth, you're wasting money steering the economy instead of helping the common good. We all benefit from a society with better mental health, and we have a lot to cover on that front. But the state is losing terrible amounts of money in the capital-heavy venture known as the WEDC and the DWD. You know it. Cut from these losing programs and shift budgets to meaningful inpatient treatment and fixing access. Our problems are about to get much worse, and we need to focus on the right areas and the ideas, like truly funding mental health care facilities and developing better nonprofit models. There are a lot of mentally ill self-medicating out there with pot. They too need to be seeing doctors, not judges. Pot may even be a valid treatment, but there's a smarter way to do this. Fourth, while it's still vogue for our universities to be publicly funded, ask our UW system to begin a full and complete study of every aspect of the war on drugs and all drug-related phenomenon, focusing on addiction, treatment, and public policy impact. shift just 5% of the funding from every program, and openly ask our universities to consider this a priority for all of humanity. We believe there are better options out there. Only our conscious choice to seek them is holding us back. The Libertarian Party has absolutely no interest in making this terrible problem a campaign or political issue. This needs to happen now, not in 12 months. Please understand the seriousness in this next statement. In 12 months, we will have another overdose, hopefully not fatal. But we are well over that pace right now. But if it takes that long, then sadly, it takes that long and another yet very precious and likely young life very well may be lost. To the people of Wisconsin, if what the Libertarians say here has resonated with you, in a year we haven't begun this path, well, the sign that led the parade will surely do so again next year. And friends, I've never seen such a loyal, single-issue voter. And we met the nicest people. We are Liberty Valley, Wisconsin. Like us in all your favorite places like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Peace.